Hello and welcome to this prep video for our upcoming call together. I'm Sonja Semyonova and I am really thrilled that you have taken this first step to claiming your power in love and sexuality by booking the call together. Now I'm going to keep this video pretty short, just about 10 minutes, and this video exists as a container for us to have the best possible outcome in the call, whether or not we decide to work together, because I want to give you the best possible experience that can set you on a new trajectory. So to begin, let's just start by acknowledging where you're at. If you've booked a call with me, you've probably been dealing with some what seem insurmountable issues in love and sexuality. So a lot of my clients come to me like they feel like they're an absolute failure in relationships. They're chasing after avoidant partners, they're repeating patterns, they're constantly getting hurt, and they want it to stop. Some people come to me because they are struggling with confidence in the bedroom. They don't know how to ask for what they want, and they don't know how to change when something comes in that they don't want. Or many people come to me because they're really uncomfortable receiving pleasure. They're uncomfortable allowing their bodies to take that in. And they know that there's something in there. They know that there's something that they want to tap into, but they just don't know how to go there. If you've booked this call with me, then you're probably like an inch away from giving up entirely on the idea that deep, meaningful love or hot, beautifully connected sex are for you. And you've probably tried the oracle decks, you've probably gone to the retreats, you've probably experienced talk therapy, and you're not understanding why it doesn't click. So our time in this call is going to be about identifying some of the big hurdles that are in the way to you having these things, because trust me, they are your birthright and they are meant for you. So let me give you a short introduction to who I am and why I'm on this mission to help more women reclaim their power in love and sexuality. I'm going to begin with my personal origin story. So I grew up in a very disconnected family. We had a lot of unprocessed trauma, and what I learned in that family dynamic was that dissociation is normal when it comes to sexuality and relationships. We don't ask ourselves what we want because that answer might be too scary. And so at the same time though, I kind of came in craving deep love, deep intimacy, powerful experiences of connection. And you can call it for the fact that I have Venus and Mars in my first house if you're an astrology person, but it doesn't really matter why. It simply has always been a driving factor for me. And so not having the tools to know how to work with that deep desire, and also the dissociation that came with the family of origin, I ended up giving a lot of my body and my heart to people who were kind of the wrong people for me. I was coerced into intimacy so many times in my early years, and it was something that I didn't even think of as an issue because I never was taught that I had a voice. When I finally learned I had a voice after taking on work in sexual assault advocacy, I had my first taste of that full range of feminine power, that full yes and full no. And it set me off for the next 3 decades. I began studying everything I could about the power of my body, about the power of healing. And this took me into many different pathways, including very deep studies of the mystical teachings of yoga, witchcraft, herbal medicine, womb healing, sacred sexuality, mythology, somatics, and basically anything I could get my hands on, I got my hands on it. So all of this led me to have a certain kind of understanding of who I was and what I could offer. But it wasn't until my second marriage fell apart right before the pandemic that I began to really understand what I was missing. I realized as I watched this beautiful union crumble before me that I had been outsourcing all of my erotic power, all of my love energy into my partners. And I needed to find that deep well within me that I learned was available for all of us. I always like to say that destruction is the mother of creation. So we can't build anything until we destroy what's in the way. The destruction of that marriage allowed me to create an entirely new narrative around what my relationship with relationships was going to look like. So this led me to dive even deeper into the study of love and sexuality. I sought out some of the world's best teachers on the subject, and the world's best teachers, in my opinion, are the mystics, the poets, and the whores. And what I learned from them was invaluable. I learned that my erotic power is my life force. And when I directed my attention into pleasure, it turned that slog of healing into something that was actually a whole lot of fun. The result of about 4 years of concentrated study led to me writing my first book called Letters to My Lovers and creating my companion course called The Heartbreak Cure. I also started an erotic theater troupe to guide people through the process of stepping out of shame around their sexual expression. And I began to work very deeply with women and a few brave men to explore the path of pleasure as a path of wellness. In my years as an intimacy coach, I have led groups, I've worked one-on-one with people very deeply, and I've built large-scale events around the globe to guide women to live in the full range of their feminine erotic expression. Now, this looks like being able to go from badass bitch to surrendered submissive kitten, sometimes in the same day, depending on what the desire is, depending on what the need is. I have seen people pleasers learn to set boundaries and uphold them. I have seen women who used to run from conflict express their needs and become more emotionally regulated. And I have seen so many people become unforgettable lovers. In short, I have helped hundreds of people find their power in love, relationships, and sex, and stop being victims to their storylines. And this work comes out of 3 main areas in which I teach. First is emotional mastery. You have to learn how to befriend your emotions so that they don't overtake you, but they can actually serve you. 2 is physical mastery, learning how to tap into the wisdom of the body, getting very physical with learning how to map the pleasure in the body, and then using the power of the erotic as a tool to bring in more vitality and more fulfillment. And 3rd is mental mastery. You have to learn how to find that inner mother and father to tap into your desires, to overcome fears about speaking your truest truth. And this brings me to you, because I have 3 questions that I want you to think about before we hop on this call. I want you to write these down as I'm sharing them. You can just pause the video if you need to. And after you write them down, I want to ask you to journal with them, to take a walk and contemplate them, to turn on some music and dance about them. Whatever your process is, use it. And then bring your answers to the call. Even if your answers aren't fully formulated, you have done this correctly. First question, how would you act if you believed that you have never failed in love, sex, and relationships? Second, what stories about yourself would you have to give up in order to believe that you've never failed? And now the final question, what's stopped you from letting these stories go, and why are you ready now? So take some time before our call to sit with these questions, using whatever process works for you. And know that I don't expect you to have the full answer. I don't expect you to have a perfect understanding of these. I'm just asking you to be open to your inner wisdom coming online and guiding you. I am so thrilled to jump on this call with you. It's a huge step that you're taking, and I'm gonna celebrate the fuck out of you for it. And even if we never end up working together, I want this call to be transformative, because I wanna see more of us reclaiming our power, to stepping into this, because it is so amazing to have more people who are turned on in all parts of life. And so here's my ask to you, that when you show up to this call, that you are fully present. So that means being in a private space, your camera's on, and there are as few distractions as possible. So shut the door, get someone to sit with the kids, find a way to be fully present for just this short time. This is a gift to yourself and to me. And second, I want to ask you to honor my no cancellation policy. I give a lot in these free calls, and I want to make sure that my calendar is available for people who are really ready to take on what I'm going to share. And so please book the time that you can actually make and show up on time for me. I am so thrilled to guide you in the call. Really looking forward to chatting with you soon. Bye-bye.